Namaste and good morning to everyone out there today. How how's everybody? Hi, this is Destiny. Today, Destiny is gonna do this video behind the scenes. Sometimes I just like come behind the camera because I have a lot of information that I just want to pour out before you today. And I just think sometimes it's just more easier to go behind the scenes. So you can stay center focused on the message and the words that's coming out of my mouth. And you won't be looking at destiny. And it's like, okay, sometimes we can distract people. Our hand expression, the words we may be saying, or our emotions, or whatever. So let's jump into this video. It is Sunday and it's February 23rd, 2020. And this is another video that I know that this message came from the universe, the divine creator God himself, because this has been a message has been turning over inside of me for quite some time now. And, you know, I know when the universe is sending messages or the universe is sending a way of me to be able to communicate with people, he just keeps bringing it back to me over and over again. And this is one of those messages. Guys, Destiny is doing fantastic. Today I'm going to talk on the subject, our constructed self. And I'm just going to dive deep in. I'm going to be behind the scenes, as I said before, guys, because Destiny has a lot of hand motions. She could get very excited when she's talking sometimes, and I just don't want to break your mode of centering in on this message. I want your deep attention, so I just want you to listen. And I always tell you, when you're listening, I'm not talking about with just these physical ears right there. I'm talking about with your heart. Your heart is the beginning of your awakening to your higher and greater self. That is your love center. So listen with your heart. Let's get started. Our constructed self. What's the importance of knowing about deconstructed self? Deconstructed self is the view of ourselves, guys. It can be also called a mask or an act that we put on, or even our self-image that we try to sell to others. And when we win their attention or their acceptance, then we say that, hey, they bought into our act. And it's a part of the way we manage our affairs. And these affairs that we are managing is on the third and fourth dimensions. The third and the fourth dimensions, okay? And it bears no resemblance to how things are handled in the higher dimensions. And as you see, and I'm going to explain a little deeper as I go on into the message about deconstructed self and what is deconstructed self. And I know some of you out there has probably already done videos or studies into this topic, but I'm just going to give you what I know that the Creator God has placed in my heart to share with you. So, as you see, the constructed self is the product of our alienation from our natural state of being. And we said, what is the natural state of being, Destiny? That is your whole self. And you always hear me talking about the whole self. That, being healthy, healed, whole, wholesome, and complete. That's your whole self. The whole self, it overshadows and it clouds and it constructs the view. And what it does when it does that, it overshadows everything, that the whole self, in order to gain love and attention. And that's what we're constantly seeking: love, attention, and acceptance. And that's what we thirsty, and we always striving to receive those things, but we always looking not within us, or looking to out into nature, to the divine creator. We always looking outside of ourselves into things and people and into material things. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there. So what is the constructed self? And that may be a question that you want to ponder on. And like the Bible always say, if you read lots over in Psalms, I believe, meditate on this, think on this, think on these things. So think on that. What is the constructed self? Now this is my analogy, or my definition. The constructed self is a construction in thought, preserved in memory, that we allow to define ourselves and influence our response to matters. The concept of constructed self, guys, it covers much the same territory as notions like your personality, your identity, your self-concept, your self-awareness, your self-image, and the list goes on and on, and it's endless. But the only difference is that I'm emphasizing that it's something that we ourselves construct. We do this. We bring on this self-construction. We construct it ourselves. And then at times, what we do, we deconstruct. And then at other times, what do? We reconstruct. It's not a static phenomenon, guys, but it's a dynamic. And it's something that we need to think about. Go back and think on these things. Guys, it changes as our thoughts decide. Like I said, we are not our thoughts. And the Bible says, and I repeat it all the time, as a man or woman thinks within his or her heart, so they become. So whatever thoughts that you have, whether they're negative or they're positive, you're going to create that constructed self. So the only difference is that I want you to understand that the constructed self is only the person or the visage, or it's your own creation of how you see yourself, how you may be feeling within yourself. It's your own creation. If we have a committed thought, and we always have these thoughts that we give in to that is not healthy, that is not positive, that is not the thoughts of the divine creator, your God. But we have a committed thought such as, I'm never going to do that again. And we keep going back and repeating the same patterns, the same behaviors, the same negative words. We keep going over and over doing the same thing. And every time we do it, oops, I messed up. I'm so sorry. And what we did was we just constructed ourselves. But we continue to repeat those behaviors, those negative thoughts, those negative words, all the negative patterns and all the vibes that comes along with it that is negative. We continue to repeat it. And we just continue, as I said, we do that again. And what it does, it alters this constructed self. Guys, removing an element of its construction, or putting up a no access sign. And you probably say, well, what is that no access sign? Just, hey, I built this house. my own house through my own words, through my own creation, my own thoughts. And that is the house that you built with your ego. Your ego, the pride part of you, the selfish side of you, that side that likes to manipulate and hold on and control and believe in everything that is not true and real. That's the ego house that you have built. And then you put that no asset sign up, because I don't want to hear anything from anybody else. I don't want to change what I have built. I don't want to tear down the construction that I have built. I don't want to hear it, whether it's positive, whatever you may say it is. I don't want to hear it. I have my own perception. I'm living in this world of illusion. So guys, we are constantly altering our constructed self. And indeed, we're being asked to alter it by letting go of our negative ways of being that we are sold to ourselves. And then we also sold them to others. And then embracing the higher dimensionally positive and divine qualities, which we find so hard to embrace. Because we find it so hard to let go of our old beliefs, our old patterns, our old habits, and of the old ways and things that we've been programmed, we've been manipulated and controlled to believe by our ego, by the matrix systems and everything else that taught us things that were falsely and incorrectly, not in the way, in the form that the Creator God has purpose for our lives. He had created for us to live. He has predestined our lives before the foundation of this earth to be dynamic, super, empowered, and control of ourselves. He constructed the house that we shall live in. That's the soul. So, let me focus for a moment on the self. When I talk about the self, I'm talking about the little self, that little S. That little self that we construct. It seems to me that a chord is struck whenever we focus on either that little self, that little S, that little self, comparing to the self, the big S, the big self, or even the no self, that is the capital N-O, the capital S-E-L-F, that no self. Anything that turns our attention to us, guys, is felt keenly. I mean, it just cuts us to the very core. It's like I said, it's like a core, a sharp core that we're stringing our instrument, or the string of an instrument. We feel it very keenly within ourselves. And we do this in a very attentive way. Because we're not going to silently sit there. I was going to let somebody know, hey guys, this is what you're feeling, what you're going through. You're going to let them know your emotions, what you think of, what has happened to you, or what you're feeling. We do this in a very attentive way because we're always seeking attention from everything around us, from other people. Because we're always looking for other people to complete us, to make us whole. We're always seeking for that attention because we feel like that we need people approval. Guys, in some elements of our constructed self are shared across our cultural and even our subcultural, and then others are not. And that's just what life is. And others are not. An example of a cultural-wide behavioral pattern, guys, is only the survival-oriented way that we see ourselves. And how are you seeing yourself? And I did a video on yesterday about the mirror. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Because I'm saying, we're seeing an illusion. When we're seeing ourselves in the mirror, it's not our true selves. We're seeing a reflection. And that's a whole nother video, and I did that yesterday. What do you see when you see yourself in the mirror? Guys, listen, let me say this. As long as we operate within the third and the fourth dimensions, As like I said, that's the lower place. That's the lower state of our subconsciousness. That's the house that our ego has set up, and we have become tenants within the house of the ego. But as long as we operate within the third and fourth dimensions, then we tend to represent ourselves as separate seeming selves, competing for scarcity or things that we scarce of, resources or other separate seeming selves. And it's up to us to ensure our own survival. And we have to know that we are already conquerors. We are victorious. We are already champions. Our Creator God has gave us that light to overcome all these things that we have been programmed to believe, but we just won't let go. We attach ourselves and we find it hard to let go, even when it's a lie, even when it's hurting us, even when it's keeping us in fear, even when it's keeping us in lack, even when it's keeping us under control of all the beliefs that the Creator God has already showed us and who we are, our greater and higher self. It's up to us, guys, to ensure our own survival. Are we going to fight? Are we going to fight against all the negativity and all the negative things and all the negative energies and all those things that come to slay us? Guys, in this environment, we feel a need to sell ourselves to other people. We sell ourselves out, or at least an image of ourselves. And then we put on this mask, and we wear this mask because we always got to hide our true identity, because we're afraid of ourselves. We're afraid of facing who we are. We're afraid of our identity. So we put on the mask, or we find a way that we have to act. We have to act in a way that it will entice people, that it will catch people's attention. And we do this in order to win friends, to win loved ones, or our spouses, or our mates, or we do this to influence people, and even to garner our allies. We work so hard at doing things to construct ourselves, and we tearing down our soul consciousness, our higher self, our house that the Creator God has built. We doing this so we can influence people. And to do this, guys, we construct a self, or a self-image, a view of ourselves, which we sell to others. And we go aboard sometimes. We got to make it grand, and we got to make it exciting, and we got to make it with all kinds of things added to it, because we have to be at the best who we are by the sight of other people for us to sell it. So we have to do some flips to really make it a great performance. Guys, we represent ourselves in the best light, because somebody got to see me, and somebody got to see me doing my best, because that's the only way that they gonna really want me. But what we call acceptance, one could think of as buying our act, or not exposing our mask. And those who buy our act, guys, those are the ones that becomes our friends. Or can we say they really true friends? They just buy into what we want them to see, or what want them to believe that we are. It's a false mask. It's a false identity. And those who buy our act, they can become our friends. And those who don't buy our act, then they are not. They are not our friends. That's how we think, right? Okay. As a man or woman thinks within his heart, so he or she becomes. So I'm going to leave that there on the table for you to think on that also. Now, I watch myself carve out an image. as a generous person. And that's always been me. I said, I'm always have been. That's my whole past. Old things will pass away, and behold, all things now have become new for destiny. But I watched myself all those years. I carved out that image as a generous person. I'm always being that people pleaser. I was busily crafting myself. I was busy crafting myself, my identity, and I was wearing this mask all the time. Or what I was doing was constructing myself as being that generous person. And it's myself. It was all me that I was creating, but it was a false me. It was a false identity. It was my constructed self. Then you can say, I created all of that. Now, that became my hope. That became my hope. That became who I wanted people to see me as. Because that I felt that people will accept me better being what they thought I should be or what they thought I need to be. That was my hope. And that is what I was infiltrating. And I wanted them to buy that image, that they were seeing me in that way. And all of these actions, guys, guess what? It only takes place within the third and the fourth dimensions. And I explained it before. That's your lower subconsciousness state. That is not where your creator God is trying to move you to your higher, greater dimension of your higher, greater self. Deconstructed self is not a part of the higher dimensions, and that we need to understand. It is a part of it because the love that's felt there, guys, it drowns our thoughts of harm or the thoughts of our conflicts and all those things, and then we experience abundance. We feel our oneness in love and have none but harmonious thoughts. That's when we reach the higher state of consciousness. That's our higher dimension. That's the higher dimension that the Creator is constantly trying to pull us to our higher, greater self. That's when we experience the abundance. That's when we're going to feel our oneness in love because we are now reached the heart center, the heart chakra. And we're going to have nothing other than harmonious thoughts there. Because now we are thinking on the things and the plans and the ways of our divine creator God. That's who we are, God. So what that means for us is that if we want to experience, guys, the higher dimensions, then we may want to drop our mask. We may want to detach ourselves from the self-image that we have created and drop our constructed self. Our construction added to our unconstructed, the capital S self, is only overburden. It's an obstacle to our realization of it that we would later need to be removed. So why don't we just go on now and face it? It's false identity. It's that mask. It's that self-image. It's that constructed self. And just stand up and be bold about it. And confess it. It's not who the Creator God created me to be. And go and remove it now. And save all this trouble later on. Guys, the pure and innocent, the capital self, it lies deeper than the level of consciousness of your constructed self. And it lies way beneath it, down in the house of your ego. And that is not where your soul is trying to lead and guide you to your higher and greater self, to the kingdom of God that is within you, the highest state of your consciousness. And for us to reach our greater and our higher state of consciousness, guys, we got to come to that place of transparency, the place of honesty, the place of awareness, knowing who we are, And again, we got to know who we are. We got to know our life's purpose. We have to know the divine qualities or what will solve any discomfort that we feel from dropping this way of being. We got to drop the things that the Creator God has not created for us to walk in. He has these divine qualities that He has created for us. That's our higher, greater self. That's our authentic self. Guys, I hope this message here pinpoint for you what the constructed self is and how to recognize it. And I hope it raised the subject to awareness, and also it make it comprehensive. Comprehensible? Okay, well, make it comprehensible. And I hope this will help you to let go of your constructed self after experiencing it to your own satisfaction. However, guys, everyone has a free will. And the Bible tells us, choose you this day who you will serve. You have a right to choose whatever you want. If you want to stay living in your constructed self house that you are built, that's your choice. If you want to move out of that house of your constructed self, along with your ego there with you, you want to move past both of that, that is your choice. You choose. You choose what you want to live in your house, in your life. But the constructed self will always be up to awareness. And when a behavior pattern is raised to awareness, that can no longer run itself or run outside of our awareness. It must run within our awareness, which makes it ripe for alteration. I hope you guys are really getting this. I hope you're really opening your heart and you're hearing this with your heart. Let me give you a little further more information, then I will be done. Guys, listen to this with your heart. One's self-construction is only one's cognitive and effective presentation of one's own identity. And you can change that. Why? Because you created it. You interfere with the plan of the divine creator, your God. You interfere with everything that He created you in His likeness and in His image. And when He created you, He said in Genesis, everything that He created, it was good and very good. And He breathed His breath into you and you became a living soul, your higher, greater consciousness. And if you interfere with that, then you're messing with the plan of God. You can change whatever that you want to change that you created. You can't change what your God created in you, but you can make a mess of it. But, and I'm going to say it again, you can change whatever that you don't want to change because you created. But you can never change the construction of your building or your body that the divine creator God built. But with your constructed self, you construct, let me say it, with your constructed self and with your constructed ways, with your constructed thinking, guys, you can tear down the whole building, your whole entire temple, the body. You can tear it all down and destroy the perfect plans that God, your creator, has for you to fulfill your life's purpose and for you to become your greater and higher self. And when you can continue to fight against the divine creator and you begin to fight and war against his plans, and you can continue not to believe what the creator God has spoken and said about you, and you fight against his perfect plans for your life, guys, eventually God, your creator, will just let go. He will let go, and I'm telling you, he will turn you over to yourself. The Bible calls it a reprobate mind. You believe and do whatever that you want to do. It makes you feel good. It's not what he wants for you, but it's what you chose. Life is choice driven. Let me say this. Our deepest freedom rests not in our freedom to do what we want to do, but rather in our freedom to become who our creator of the universe, our God, wills us to be. This person, this ultimate self-God, wills us to be. It's not a predetermined static mode to which we must conform to. And the Bible said, be not transformed by the renewing your mind. I know it's somewhere like that. I think it's 1 Corinthians chapter 12. I don't know. Chapter 12, I think. I'm going to leave that there, though. Guys, listen to this. This person, this ultimate self-God wills us to be. It's not a predetermined static mode to which we must conform, but rather it is an infinite possibility of growth. It's our true self, guys. Like I said, it's not looking in that reflection of the mirror or looking at those photos that somebody has taken of you. It's our true self, the God that is in us. We are God consciousness. We are God. It's our true self. And that is a secret self hidden in and one with a divine freedom. And in obeying our Creator, our God, in turning to do the will of the Creator God the universe has, then God's wills us to be free. He wills us to be free. We were born free. We are energy being. We are transcending, always transforming, moving, and always to our greater and higher self, because we are in tune with the universe and we are one with God himself. God wills us, guys, to be free. God created us for freedom. That is to say that the Creator God created us for himself, God's self. That's why he said, you are God. You are God. And greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. He put himself in us. God created us for God's self. The self-constructed of ideology and social principles. The self that defines itself and proclaims its own worthiness is most unworthy of the claim to reality before the Creator God. Our freedom from the prison of our own illusions comes in realizing that in the end, everything is